I'm really, really excited to be talking to you guys today and, just continuing my chance to give back to Scouting, which has been such an important part of my family. As Ben said, recruiting's looking really solid this year. I'm super excited about this year's membership campaign with a goal of recruiting 6,500 new Scouts. That sounds like a crazy big number, but given our success in the past couple years, I think that's a great attainable goal for us. The Braves and the Scouts have had a really great partnership, especially over the past couple of years. I think, my ability to work with the Scouts on the recruiting campaign has hopefully been fruitful. I've enjoyed every moment of it, and it's been really interesting for me to get a better understanding of how the recruitment process works. One of the ways we've partnered with the Scouts is that the Braves for the past 2 years have funded the cost of the handbooks. So each Scout is able to get a handbook without, any cost outlay, for their family or from Boy Scouts in general. We've also had the pleasure of hosting the principals at kind of a cool event every year. We reserve a large hospitality space right under the scoreboard, and during the summer the principals come and have a nice glass of wine while they watch a Braves game. This year hopefully it was a win. I don't recall that game if we won or not, but
big win. They scored like a lot of runs.
Yeah, and I think from a recruiting perspective, it's just a really great opportunity for those principals to mingle on a casual, in a casual setting with the Scouts, and I think help open doors to some schools that may have been difficult to get into in the past. So I'm really excited about all of those things we've been able to partner on over the past couple of years. This year's going to be important. Speaking of access to principals, we are being able to get back into many more schools where we were limited over the COVID years. So, hopefully that's going to really drive increased access and increased interest for the Scouts when they, hear the recruiting pitch and, get excited about the importance of Scouting in their lives. So really, I just want to thank everybody for everything you do for Scouting. Like I said, it's really important in my life and in my family's life. And, I think we're going to have great success this year, and I look forward to celebrating the campaign at the end of October.
Thank you so much, Jill, for those words and for all the things that you and the Braves are doing. And we're going to do our part to help root you on and make sure we get back in the playoffs and get to that World Series. So
yeah, celebrate 2 victories.
That's right. We're going to celebrate this fall for recruiting all the new Scouts and winning the World Series again. So thanks again, and we'll turn it over to Bert to take us back, bring us home.
Okay, well, we're going to round all the bases here a few times, because in order to recruit 6,500 new Scouts and also all of the leaders that have to lead those Scouts, we've got some quick training and review of training that we've got to do. What are we going to do tonight over the next half hour or so? We're going to cover steps for successful and sustainable recruiting. I am not in this to recruit 6,500 new Scouts this fall and only see 3,000 of them here next April. I'm here to recruit 6,500 Scouts this fall, grow it by another 1,000 or 2 over the winter as PACs are really taking off with fun activities and great program, so that we have more Scouts in April than just the additional 6,500 we pick up this fall. So we're going to talk about those steps. We're going to talk about ways to do sign-up nights, both fun PAC events and school nights. And it's all a key partnership between Atlanta Area Council professionals and PACs. Professionals and PACs working together to pull this off. Now, I wish there was a way for me to say, here is one way, one thing you need to do in order to be successful at recruiting, but there's not. Sorry about that. The good news is There's a lot of arrows you can use to hit the target. The more tools you use, the better it'll be. We're going to cover a lot of them. Some you're going to go, oh, that sounds great. Others you're going to go, ah, that's too much for us. Use the ones that will work for your team, because all scouting is local. You've got to use the resources you've got right now. But wherever you are, whether you're a pack of 10 or a pack of 100, you can use these tools in order to be successful. Part of that is thinking about why people want to do what we do. Why do they want to do what your pack does? So why do kids join? A lot of different reasons. For a lot of them, it comes down to things like knives and campfires, but getting in the outdoors, doing fun things, hanging out with friends, that's what they like. P.S. They're also going to do it because mom or dad makes them do it, because basically they're being driven around by mom and dad. So why do adults want to put their kids in scouting? And the answer is going to be a lot of these, depending on the individual. We don't want to limit our audience to former scouts. We want to pitch to parents who've never been in scouting, don't really know what it is. We may educate them that, hey, we have girls now, and you know what? We can serve them, and we hope all packs are open to bringing in girls if they can get the leaders to lead those kids. So what we're going to focus on, and I'll invite Ben if you want to put up the in the chat the URL for the recruiting resources page so that everybody has that, that would be great. But we have a guide to Cub Scout family recruiting, and it's got these steps. We're going to go over all of those, and as you have questions, feel free to put those in the chat. Ben, if we need to interrupt at any point, I'll let you be the judge on that, but otherwise we will just handle questions at the very end, as I will go through this in a rapid fire way.
And it may be good, Bert, since we have a solid group of looking at 10 or 12 people, we might leave some space there for us to have a little interaction. So good job on your willingness to flexibility to move through it so we can talk. We
will roll. All right, so we're going to use a few of what the kids call the memes these days. And, here is perhaps for some packs, it's a big change. A lot of packs are used to thinking recruiting begins and ends at sign-up night. That's the way you've always done it. Or will you want to invest a little bit more time to be more successful with sustainable recruiting and follow the steps in the guide? I hope it's not a hard choice. I hope that packs will follow this. What's step one? Having a calendar of activities. And why is that important? We have data. The national survey says that the #1 reason why families stay in Cub Scouting is because they have great outdoor activities in the pack. Outdoor, that's our brand. That's what we do. That's what keeps people happy. So if you build a program of things like we've got on this screen, swimming, fishing, hiking, biking, camping, kites, rockets, derbies, and pitch that to parents as they're coming back to school, doing open houses this week and next, having your sign-up events as you're communicating with families throughout your pack, and as you empower your parents to recruit, tell them what we do. That's not when we meet, it's what we do, so that you hook parents who say, wow, we would like to do those things. We want to, those sound like great activities. We would like to do that with you and do it together. So we encourage every pack, have an activity plan. We have an example up here. We have a night with the Braves. Don't forget that, that's coming up. If you didn't get to see the Braves play the Astros last year in the World Series, you can see them in a rematch later this month with Scout Night. You can get out and do other things and build a calendar so that families go, wow, this sounds like fun activities. We can't make them all, we know, but we want to join and do as much with you. For packs, I'm going to not spend a lot of time on planning a great year, because I've got an hour-long session from last spring that is all about how to plan a year and ways to organize your pack calendar and your pack operations in order to have a great year. It surprised the heck out of my advisor at the time, as you can see, and I hope you will find things that you learn in that surprise you too. In any event, I think the #1 thing when you're recruiting is focus on activities. if the most interesting man in the world endorses that, I think you should follow it. So the most interesting man in the world is going to promote the PAC program by sharing what your PAC does, who you are. So we want to give you a lot of resources about how to do that. One of the things we think is absolutely powerful is to have what we call a PAC packet flyer. It's one sheet of paper, it's two sides. What we've got here are, on the front side, pictures. It's actual people in the PAC. Kids can look at that and go, I'm in that picture. They will share it with their friends. Families who pick that up will go, I know that kid. We want to join and do this with them. The backside has some quick information, some Q&As about Cub Scouting and what we're going to do. And we've got two different QR codes on there. One links to our website, FAQs, how we operate. The other creates an email that's going to pop into somebody who's going to be able to respond quickly to pull that parent in so that we can give them information about what they need to know, who they need to connect with in order to join the PAC. Now, there's lots of ways to get your fun activity list out there, what you're doing, what events you want to invite families to. The flyer is one way. You can email that, get it handed out at school, hand it out in carpool, get it posted on websites, put it out through social, Facebook, Insta, whatever you do. Newsletters, do it all. There are other ways you can set things up. Yard signs are a big thing still. So get those out there so that people know how to contact you and get in touch with your PAC. Now, we have official Atlanta Area Council flyers, and some people may think you have to use those flyers. I'm here to tell you, no, you don't. The official flyers will be the ones that are used for school nights. They're all going to look the same. They're great flyers. You can also use those flyers to create your own PAC event flyers, because the Atlanta Area Council's posted up versions of those flyers that you can edit yourself, put in your own information and contact. It never has to hit the VSC print shop. You can roll with it. But if you want to have pictures of your own scouts, make them, collect them all. We've actually had registration days where kids will collect the flyers that have their picture in it and hand it out to their friends. It's very powerful because you want to empower your people to promote. Y'all on this Zoom and, leaders who follow are going to, may get weary because you think, we got to do it all. We have to do all the reaching out to parents. No, empower your parents to invite their friends. I really can't connect with any Cub Scout age parents because I don't have Cub Scout age kids anymore. But if I give a Cub Scout age parent the tools to reach out to their friends, if they like scouting and want more people to do it with them, give them the tools, cut them loose, and they can do it. Cut the kids loose too. Kid-to-kid recruiting is super powerful, and don't forget the recognition. Get yourself a bag full of those recruiter patches and recognize kids who are bringing their friends in. Now, one of the ways to promote, to reach people, to pull them in is to have a good Be a Scout pin. You can have up to 500 characters describing the fun things you do. You can set it up so that you have a strong presence, welcome emails, fee emails that explain how you collect program fees for your PAC. And I've got two examples there on the right-hand side here of the PowerPoint. One that does have a lot of description. The other doesn't say much. If you have a choice between 1 and 2, you're probably going to be more interested in 1 because it's telling you more and there's more ways to get in touch with people. And if you use that, if you use Be a Scout, taking in applications is super simple. The fees that have to be paid to national, you don't have to collect those for 2022. That goes in when they submit an online application. So they basically stand just like all your current members when you're collecting program fees for 22, 23. You don't have to have different amounts for different folks if they're applying through online registration. Okay, so we've promoted, we've shared activities. Hopefully we are going to have our antenna out to recruit leaders. And that is the key part that is so important. that the second set of tonight's concert, starting at 7:30, is going to be all about 50 ways to lure a leader, ways that you can create a culture of leadership. And that's critical because we can recruit 6,500 people, but if we don't recruit the hundreds and hundreds of additional den leaders to lead them and support those dens and packs, they're going to leave. The same survey that told us that outdoor activities are key says that the number one reason why families left was pack had poor leadership. That was also after fees are too high and COVID. That was also most of the next 3, 4, 5, 6 reasons why people left. The leadership wasn't there. It wasn't engaged and it wasn't welcoming. You could just look in the answers and think, here's a pack that is overburdened. So you want to create a system of getting packs, because you may get 70 kids signing up at school night, and you may think, I am a super den leader, and you are. You're a super cub master, and there's no doubt about that. But if you just have 2 people trying to lead 70 kids, Oprah's going to give you that look, and it's just not going to work out. So at 7:30, we're going to do a program about turning parents into helpers and turning helpers into leaders, because you want to create in your dens and packs a culture of every parent leads. Every parent helps as they can. We don't want to cover up the cub master and too many things to do. We don't want to dump on the den leader with every task, because we can help parents lead not only their own kid, but their own kids' friends in the den. So 50 ways to lure a leader is going to look hard at ways to organize, to right size your program, to right size your jobs, to create an environment where you are picking up and retaining more leaders, but also replacing them, because you don't want to have somebody who's signing up to be a den leader to think, oh my goodness, I am the den leader forever. No, you want to be sure that there's a team, so that if the den leader who signs up with his kindergarten daughter is happy being a den leader for 6 years, great. He's gonna be happier if he has a bunch of friends who are helping lead that den, and we will discuss ways to get that done. A primary way to get that done is focusing on the advancement method and giving parents the tools to lead the advancement program. We've got in the Atlanta Area Council on the Cub Scout advancement page, you've heard me say it before, but it's true, resource pages that will allow parents to become experts to their Cub Scouts. Simpler plans, streamlined, family-led. Parent leadership is prompted so that when you see that there's a small part of an activity, it'll prompt you to assign a parent leader so that that parent can be successful teaching, whether it's Bobcat stuff or hiking safety or knots or whatever. They're going to have the tools to help kids and be successful leaders. Because our goal isn't just to take 6,500 scouts and give them a program every other week. Rather, it's to build stronger families through scouting and make their parents strong leaders who can together deliver a program. It takes a village to raise a child. We're going to take all the parents, the village elders, work them together so that we're able to help them raise their kids. The next foundational step, very key right now, of course, is having a positive school and community presence so that you have a strong relationship with the school. Now, you may not be a parent in the school. I'm not. I've got to rely on other parents to build those relationships. I can coach them. I can, be part of the communication, but you really want to get your parents involved for this and find ways that you can help the school. Your parents will be critical for that because they'll know what they can do, like service projects. Because if you do those things, you're going to have better school access. You're going to have better use of facilities. It's not going to override a school system that says you got to pay in order to use an indoor space, but you may get better leeway to use outdoor spaces and and other resources like communication channels to share what's going on in your school. Because if you build those relationships, think of who the key contacts are. Principal, yeah, for sure. Could be staff. Anybody who's ever seen the TV show Abbott Elementary knows the principal's not running that show. It's the maintenance guy. He really knows what's going on. So get to know everybody on staff who's around when you're doing scouting, and also support your PTA or PTO so that they see that you are a big part of bringing values to kids in the school, and they will hopefully want to have more of their kids involved. Now, a wonderful benefit of having a strong relationship with your school is that you get access to be in the school or outside the school or both for an open house meet and greet, meet the teacher registration day, whatever your school calls it. Most schools have them, not every school does. Some districts like Fulton County have all of their open house dates on a website. Others you'll have to check out the individual school website. But if you can get access on a registration day for those 2, 3, 4 hours when parents and families are coming in to meet the teacher, you can talk to them on the way in, talk to them on the way out, make that one-on-one contact, that peer-to-peer, parent-to-parent, kid-to-kid contact that can make people look at your packet, your pictures, your activities, and they'll say, yeah, we want to do this. We would like to join you. And hey, with online applications, or even if you have paper applications on a clipboard and a pen, you can get them signed up that day. I know of a pack a few years ago before COVID that worked the registration day, and they got like 50 or 60 new scouts just from that. So you can do it. You have the power. So step 5, you built a foundation, you've got a great calendar of activities, you've been telling people about it, you've got a packet to hand out, you're recruiting leaders every time somebody nibbles on an interest in an activity or being involved. You've got a good relationship with your school, the community knows what you're doing. So now cash in and have some sign-up events. And yes, plural, because sign-up events should be both fun pack events that you have plus school sign-up nights. And this is especially critical for districts that have a lot of schools. If, for example, school's starting next week or the week after, you may not have your school sign-up night until September. Does that mean you should put your pack on hiatus until then? No, you should have some pack events that are super fun, get families together, have them invite their class people, hand out your packet flyer at carpool, get it, hand it out at the school. You may not have your date yet for a school sign-up night, but you can have fun pack events, because anything you do that's fun can be a family test drive of scouting with your den or pack. You just have to invite people and then welcome them when they get there. And it doesn't have to be elaborate. For example, biking. Some people think, oh, we don't have time to get a bike rodeo together. Well, we're not suggesting that you need to do that. Just have a bike ride. It's powerful. Think of the movie Field of Dreams. Just having a catch with your dad is fun. So if you had a picnic and sports day, it doesn't have to be complicated. You need some balls and you need some gloves. You can have a catch and you can have a test drive. Let families have fun, and they can make more contacts. And when they decide they like what your den does, what your pack does, they can sign up. Now, when you do have a big sign up, especially school night, probably going to be one of these models. You could have, if you have a lot of people to deploy who can set up what's on the left there, a station to station setup. They can welcome people at one table, route them to an activity table where somebody pitches the great calendar of activities of swimming party and hike and camp out and bike ride and service project and holiday party and Pinewood Derby and fishing derby and kite fly and everything that you're going to do. You can then roll to a place where they can find out about how the advancement program works. Another table where they could talk about den leadership, how every parent helps, and give them some ways to help. For example, we are hoping that all district professionals will bring copies of a first adventure plan a Bobcat adventure where it'll prompt how parents can just take that simple plan and teach their kids Bobcat in a way that's super fun. You can have a table where you pitch what your uniform policy is, where to get it, how much you have to get, because it's darned expensive. If your pack says wear an above the waist pack, make sure they know that and don't get upsold in the scout shop. Then at some point you got to talk money. So you'll need to have a table where you explain costs, not just the BSA registration fees payable when you turn in an application, but also what your pack program fees are to pay for events, patches, the following year's registration fees for 2023, recognition, awards, those sorts of things. And then finally, close the deal, applications and payment, which can be for some people paper, for others you may need to help them follow the QR code, create a My.Scouting account, and then just process it on their phone. A lot of parents will be savvy with that. Others, you may need to help them and get a check in order to get them signed up. The other type of approach is to have a presentation or a series of presenters, ideally. If you don't have a good, 8 or 10 people to staff tables, you could have, 3 or 4 different people present on different topics so that you show that the leadership of the pack is more than one person, but you do have, hopefully 3, 4, 5 people there pitching about different aspects of this and answering questions. You can also use a group presentation to have a little bonding in the 6th grade levels that you're hopefully recruiting in. And if you invite parents who maybe not feel savvy enough to pitch about a topic, but are happy with scouting, they can sit there and make friends and help sell your program. Now, for a big sign-up event, we have resources. We do have a plan. We do have a script. The script has options because all scouting is local. Your pack program fees, your dues are going to be different than ours. That's okay. Everybody does it in the way that works for them. And because we have a Word version of the script, you can edit and make it fit what you do. You want to be sure that you and your council professional are in sync on this so that when they show up, they know what you've got planned. And so you want to share that information with your council professional so that they sell what you do in your pack and not what a generic pack does or a pack somewhere else in town. Now, there's plenty of professional and material support brought to you by the Atlanta Area Council, and I'm going to ask Ben to talk about some of those items.
Thank you. You drink a glass of water there, Bert. Give you a breath. And I'll try to keep up with you because we're running a little light on time, and I do want to give this group a chance. But hey, great news. Launch kits are back and improved. So be on the lookout for that. Those will be mailed to every single new scout that joins starting August 1. And then, as you heard Jill talk about earlier about the handbooks, how cool is that the Braves make it possible to every new scout? If you aren't using this type of collateral when people want to talk about the cost of scouting, hopefully this helps the perceived value. You're getting a $60 launch kit. I don't know if you can see it. I see that little ice cream right there in the middle. That's astronaut ice cream. It's pretty cool when you look at the different things that are in there in the book. So they're getting almost $80 value right there back to them just for signing up. And that's covered by donors, board members, Friends of Scouting dollars. All those things go towards these things that we're offering to the scouts. Some of the cool things, the last couple of years we've done slime. This year it's a Pop-It. That's the hottest thing right now. I know my daughters have several. Talked about the handbooks, the launch kits. The parent orientation guides we'll have available again. Bobcat patches. This year we'll actually give you the voucher and give it to the unit leaders. We took feedback. It wasn't the launch kit last year, but the unit leaders we heard actually want to be a part of that process. We're giving that to you. And as Bert mentioned, we have tons of paper applications and flyers. And then the newest thing this year is den leader kits. Be sure to get your den leader kits. It's a nice and simple piece. It's a drawstring bag with 10 stress balls in them with the minimum at least 10 activities that you can do. And as Bert has pointed out and helped build our website, there is hundreds of more activities that you can do at your fingertips. But we just wanted to give you something to get you started for new parents and existing den leaders. You need me to cover anything else, Bert?
I'll call you up when it's time.
All right, let me know.
Not everybody who comes to your fun event or your school sign up night is necessarily going to sign up that day. Don't write them off. Whenever people show up, be sure you keep their contact information and stay in touch with them. When you have your next fun pack event, invite them. Check in. What are they thinking? Do they want to join? You can get people to sign up darn near any time, but don't lose track of the people who had taken a test drive with you and are thinking about buying, because you can get them in the door. Something that is a little less fun than a fun pack swim party or bike ride or hike is having a parent orientation, but it's got to be done. If you're going to operate a pack, if you're going to operate a den, if you're going to use a team of parents to put on program, you're going to have some discussion with them about how we operate our pack, how we operate our den. And we've got a parent orientation page on the Atlanta Area Council website. It's going to have some materials you can pull down and edit to fit your pack, your program, so that you can put that on in a painless way. Ideally, do it alongside a fun pack event where you have non-den leaders who are leading the kids. P.S. A troop is great for this. Older scouts and troop leaders, because that way all the den leaders and pack leaders can be in the orientation and get to know the new parents and help orient them better. And that way also you're going to have parents who are seeing their kids having fun, led by older scouts, because the sixth step of recruiting after sign-up events it's plain and simple: more fun activities. That's what we want to see when the recruiting process is done, when the recruiting season ends at the end of October. We want to see more fun activities in dens and packs, so that you do things that will retain scouts, that will bring in new scouts, stuff that's fun so that new families will join. You'll retain your current families and keep your optimal size that you reach after sign-up nights this fall. Sometimes that's going to mean avoiding things that are too hard. If it's really complex and difficult, especially as you've got parents who are just learning the ways of Cub Scouting, don't try to push too much on them. Do simple, fun activities. Drake says so. I think we should follow his advice. Now, recruiting, our mantra in advising professionals is to be sure that the professionals at the Atlanta Area Council know what the right size is for your pack, because the pitch that they make with you as you talk to new families at a sign-up night is gotta be different. If you have a lot of leaders, a lot of den leaders, you've got backup den leaders in case you end up with 80 or 100 kids. That's entirely different from a pack that only has like half of the dens with a leader recruited. That is going to need a whole lot more admonishment of parents, that if they're putting their kids in this program, everybody's got to step up. We'll help you, but we have to share the lead, share the load of teaching these kids Cub Scouting, doing the fun activities together. Because if you're going to have a lot of youth, you need more engaged den leaders. The good news is plenty of ways to help them. We'll talk more in the 7:30 hour about that. And part of that analysis is going to be this analysis of, is the pack ready to ideally run all recruiting on their own, with the professional just there on the side applauding what a great job they're doing. Some packs are going to be there, but we know other packs won't, because you may not have a lot of leaders. You may have gotten a late start in planning. So this is a checklist that district professionals should be working with pack leaders in order to evaluate how much help, how much support does that pack need. And that may, in many districts, affect how many district volunteers show up to support a school sign-up night and otherwise support a PAC so that they can grow successfully. Ben, do you want to add anything on that topic?
Yeah, I do. And I want to be mindful of the time. We've got 5 minutes before we need to pivot to the next one, which means relaunch another Zoom. I'll tell you, a learning experience that I have is giving this membership recruitment process back in the hands of the volunteers. This has got to be something we look forward to over the next several years of transitioning. Y'all probably, some of you have had an experience where the executive came in and did a sign up and handed 30 applications to you and said, hey, here. And you're kind of like, whoa, or 50 applications. And we have found, the studies have shown, when a new family meets a leader from the PAC at the recruitment night, they tend to stay and they tend to come to the first meeting. This is new to me. I'm down to do this, and I want to hand this back over in the future is doing signups. What we need to do is come to a hybrid of teaching you all as leaders some of the tips of how to run efficient recruitment nights. And some of those that I went on, what it's not is an hour-and-a-half meeting of trying to sell them on everything scouting. It's quick, it's entertaining, it's to the point. Remember, these are sign-up nights. The key piece is what Bert's talked about is parent orientations, that next fun activity where you invite them to. So then that's where you engage the parents and tell them more about your PAC, but give them just what they need at the sign-up night and get them to the next meeting. But I challenge you to meet your executive at least 50%, and I dare you to go 60% and tell them this is what we want to do. But I would say, please keep an open mind and listen to what they say, because we do pretty doggone good at recruiting. What we need to do is match y'all's efforts and then have an outstanding year. So with that's all I have, Bert, but I do want to leave it open for some questions. We've answered a couple of them in the chat, but we've got 2 minutes, give or take. If we wanted to take a rapid fire, or how do you want to handle that, or just let's go. All
right. Do you have questions you want to call out from the chat?
They've been answered. It was when you get your handbooks. They're done at the sign-up night. Once confirmation of the new scout is signed up. And then leader kits are ideally at your district membership kickoffs. I know some of those have passed. If not, roundtables an event, but get with your district professionals to get those and or their district membership chairs. Any other general questions from the group? Tony, I thought you about to fall out of your chair when I said we're going to give it back to y'all. You're like, what? Is he really saying that?
All right.
We handle it.
I know y'all do a great job. Any other questions? Last chance, although I would never say it's a last chance. I don't know who makes themselves more available than Bert to answer any questions. My email's on there. Y'all see Wendy Nelson is on the call, so email her. Email your district professional if you have questions. But we're here to support you and have the best year ever. Especially, this is so important. We're getting, and I'll just share, last thing I'll share since there's no questions. The executives have been out working hard. The one thing that they do lead right now is getting to the schools. And last year we had about 100 signups. At this point, we have 236 signups set already. So if you don't know when your sign up is, I challenge you to call them, email them right now and say, hey, when's my sign up? Let me know so I can get it on our calendar and plan our parent orientation meeting. That's all I got, Bert.
All right. Well, I thank everybody for participating, and I wish you all the best of luck. Again, I am more than happy to take questions at any time because I'm retired. I don't have a job. So, but I do have things to do tonight. I will reappear at 7:30 to talk about 50 ways to lure a leader. P.S. It's up to 92 today. So, but we will go through those super fast.
Yep.
And hopefully you'll find some things in there that either you're going to say, yeah, that worked for us, or, maybe we ought to try that too.
Yeah.
So,
and just correction, 7:15, we're going to be rolling quickly. So plug to join us about recruiting leaders, reviews, and great ideas. Thanks, everybody.